Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Book Brood with Aaron and Heidi. And we're doing some more catching up on tags that we just realized we were tagged in.
Yep.
And so this one is the Monster Mash book tag that we were tagged in back in October, November by the Drunken Library. The original creator is the restricted section, and so if by some chance you don't know who those guys are, we'll link everyone down below.
Check them out. They're awesome.
Yes. All right, you ready?
I am so ready for this. I had a lot of fun with this one, actually.
This one was pretty fun.
Yeah. So, question number 1. I was working in the lab late one night. What's a book that kept you up at night?
There are many books that have kept me up at night, but I thought of this one, The Garden of Rama. I stayed up till 5 in the morning because I'm just like, well, I've only got 200 pages left. It's like, well, I only have 150 left, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I'm tired, but I've only got 50 pages left. So
Yeah, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I chose I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells, and it was getting late, but I was in the final showdown at the end, and it was, like, kept me on the edge of my seat and flipping pages, and it was so creepy, but I had to finish it.
Oh, yeah.
And that was awesome, so yeah.
Right on. Staying up late reading horror, huh?
It's a little scary to get up and pee in the middle of the night.
My eyes beheld an eerie sight. What is the weirdest or creepiest shit you've ever read in a book? And I went with... What did I go with on this one? Oh, I actually went with one I don't have. I loaned it out to a friend of mine, but it is Valis by Philip K. Dick. This is one about a man essentially falling into madness and thinking that essentially himself from the future came back in time to talk to his past self. And his friend's view of him as he's going through all of this. But which I think says a lot about his friends, that they stayed his friend while he was falling into this madness.
Okay, I had 2 answers for this. I went with Annihilation, which is the first in the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer, because the setting and the tone was so eerie and unsettling. It really, it was creepy, but I couldn't identify why it was creepy. It was just the overall atmosphere. And then also In the Miso Soup by Ryo Murakami. And this was one of the weirdest things I had seen. There's a scene where someone shoves a severed ear into a dead girl's vagina. And I thought that was the weirdest thing I have ever read. So that had to go on the creepiest shit ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, mentioning Annihilation, that made me think of Roadside Picnic and the zones in there, so
Oh, yeah.
I'll also have to shout out that.
Yeah. Get a jolt from my electrodes. Name a book that completely shocked or surprised you.
So I went with a totally non-Halloween themed one. I went with a recent nonfiction I read, which was Marry Him by Lori Gottlieb, and I was just shocked at how much I enjoyed this book. I started reading it out of just mild curiosity, or out of a joke of curiosity, really, but it was so fun to read.
I went with Ruthless by Carolyn Lee Adams, and I actually read this all in one sitting. This is a book about a girl trying to escape from a guy who's captured her, and she's trying to run away from him, and he's stalking her through the woods. And it felt so real, and that was really shocking and surprising, because it generally gets cliche during those kind of things, you know? But this, like, it had my heart racing. Like, it felt like I was really there, and I was impressed with the writing.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. The guest included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. Name your favorite monster or villain from a book. And I went with the Triffids from John Wyndham's The Day of the Triffids. I think they're a very interesting monster in that they were these moving plants that were kept as novelties by people, and they really did not become a terror until the whole world goes blind.
I need to read that so bad. I don't know why I never prioritize it. I went with Meg by Steve Alton and the giant shark, mega shark that eats everyone.
She loves sharks so much.
They're so terrifying. Like, I'm literally terrified of them. But I love, like, I'm fascinated with them in fiction. I don't know. Okay. Whatever happened to my Transylvania Twist? Name a book that was super hyped when it came out, but no one talks about it anymore.
I went with that adult fiction that J.K. Rowling wrote that I don't even know the title of it. I didn't bother to look it up.
I think the sequel just came out.
Oh, okay. So maybe people are still talking about it.
I don't know. I have no desire to pick it up. But yeah. I went with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child because there was such a huge to-do when it first came out. And then everyone read it the day or the day after it came out. And then everyone was angry and they were like, oh, it was the worst thing ever. And then after like a week, no one talked about it anymore.
Everyone's pretending it didn't happen, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So that happened.
Or didn't.
Or didn't happen, yeah.
All right. They did the mash. Name your favorite book that is a mashup of 2 or more genres. And for this one, I went with The Shadow of the Torturer by Gene Wolfe. This is set in a sci-fantasy world where there's just all sorts of weird contraptions and things. It doesn't even go into detail explaining them, but you are aware that there's all sorts of technology around, but for the most part, people just still have swords and shields and stuff.
I love that genre. I went with a graphic novel, and that's Shudder Volume 1, because this was the best mashup I've ever seen. We have, like, fantasy, science fiction, there are classic UFO spaceships, there's talking dinosaurs, there's, like, skeleton people, there's a talking alarm clock cat thing. It's got so much weird stuff in there, but it doesn't address anything that's weird. It's just, that's the normal world. And it just progresses through the story as if everything was fine.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Just no one mentions that,
Uh-huh.
that there's a talking bear in it
Right,
the whole time, right?
exactly.
Yes. All right. I think you're on
We're-
the next one.
okay.
7, I think.
It was a graveyard smash. What is your favorite horror novel?
So I haven't read many, so I went with The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I was very impressed with the story there. I wasn't expecting much from it because I have been disappointed with classics in the past, but I really enjoyed it.
I haven't read a lot either, but I went with Bird Box by Josh Mallerman, and this is a story about something creepy outside where if you look at it, you go crazy and you start killing people. And so everyone's blindfolded, and the whole story revolves around other senses. So things that you're hearing, but you can't see anything. So it just takes it to a whole new level of creepy.
I'm excited to get to that one. All right.
8, I think?
Yes. The scene was rocking. All were digging the sounds. What's your favorite song based on a book? And we just thought of comedy songs for this one. I went with Talk Nerdy to Me by K-Face TV. We'll link that down below.
Oh, it's funny. You should go see that. And I went with I Ship It by Not Literally. We'll link that also. And they're both really funny, and you should check both of them out.
Definitely.
Number 9. Tell them Boris sent you. What is your go-to book recommendation?
For this one, I don't really have a go-to, but I found myself very much recently recommending The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's just been my go-to lately, and I've been recommending it to a lot of people. It's very, very good.
I push The Prince of Thorns on everyone. Like, everyone who wins our giveaways, I usually send them a copy because everyone needs to read this. Even though I know for a fact it's not everyone's cup of tea. But I love it, so.
All right. For you, the living, the MASH was meant for you.
Was I supposed to read that?
To. I don't know. But this is Who Do We Tag? We're going to tag anyone that wants to do a Monster Halloween themed tag in February, March. So we're really on the ball with this one here.
Yeah, we don't expect many people to do it at this time of year. I think it'll get popular again in the fall. So, number 11, bonus question. What's your favorite thing about Halloween?
For this one, as parents, as good parents, you have to sift through your child's Halloween candy bag to make sure that there's nothing dangerous in there, and that includes the Reese's peanut butter cups that need to be put aside and
eaten after the kids go to bed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So there's our parenting win there.
Yay! I said candy and chocolate and the excuse to eat all of it. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Thanks for watching our Monster Mash book tag. We'll see you next time, everyone.
Bye.